Real R&B vibes on the Urban Heat 98.1 FM on iHeartRadio.
Darling, oh darling, darling. Diamond in the rough. Someone that you don't need twice. We left the bricks for the birds, turned more into Remy, matching fur coats and Fendi, from the bus to a Bentley cool, with a closet full of shoes, yeah. Then our smiles turn to frowns, ups turn to down. I don't know where I'm going now. I think about her every once in a while. We started out like Bobby and Whitney, Justin and Whitney. Then it all got ugly if it weren't for the money. Oh, no. You said I start acting funny, but what's wrong with your honey? And the good turns to bad, forgot what we had. Is it too late to get it back? I think about it more than once in a while. When I spot a rainbow,
to a classic car,
baby,
or a $2 bill. It's so real that it's so unreal.
And I don't know how to get over her smile. I wonder what she's doing now. I think about her every once in a while. I should have came with the ring, set a date for next May. Guess I thought that you wait. Now I hate that I took so long. Played around with her, now she's gone. Now my smiles turn to frowns, up turn to down. I don't know where I'm going now. I think about her every once in a while. We argue like Archie and Edith, like Ike turned on Tina. But I really didn't mean it. I was raised not to hit a woman, especially not the one I'm loving. But when the good turns to bad, my feet aside, I wish we could take it back. I think about her every once in a while, like when I spot a rainbow. I think about you, baby.
It's so real that it's so unreal.
And I don't know how to get over her smile. Wonder what she's doing now.
I think about it every once in a while.
You're like a star shining in the broad daylight, something you don't see all the time. And now I finally recognize that I should have made you all mine. Never should have let you pass me by. You put that sparkle in my life. Someone that you don't meet twice. I'm gonna live to regret it, baby. Ooh.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about? You leaving? You can't leave. You need me. Come here. Where you going? Oh, it's like that, huh? All right.
All right, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Urban Heat R&B Talk on a Tuesday. Steve Goolsby here. Good morning. Beautiful weather for the day. I hope y'all enjoy this day because, it's Boston. So if you live here, you know what I'm talking about. But all right, got a decent show for you today. Got Royale coming in here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about that new album he got. But in the meantime, before we get into all of that, let's just talk about some of the things that's going on in the world right now. And one of them, of course, is that war that's happening in Iraq. Let's talk about some of the ramifications, all right? As you know, gas prices are higher, if you haven't noticed. If you've been driving out there and had to go to the gas pump, you notice that prices are just a little higher. Before the war, I believe the price per gallon was like $2.98, and Right now it's at somewhere around 348, 350, $3.50. So you're definitely paying at the pump. Going to the supermarket. I actually haven't been to the supermarket since the thing started. So I'll probably hit the supermarket for the first time today. I don't know what the prices are looking like there, but we'll see. I can't imagine that they have gone down. I only imagine that they probably gone up since the war and Iran and all that stuff, man. But you got national security to think about too. Security period. How many of y'all are traveling this year? What are your plans this summer? Are some of you traveling to Mexico? I know a lot of folks had things booked for Mexico. You know what's going on down there. I don't know what has happened since, but imagine being in Mexico and just being trapped and you can't get out, all because the cartel, is doing their thing based on what happened to one of their leaders. That's got to be something that I just can't imagine. I can't imagine being somewhere and having a hard time getting out of there and getting back home. It was a dangerous situation. It probably still is. I don't plan on going to Cancun or anywhere near Mexico in the near future. I can tell you that right now. And that's probably gonna most likely hurt the economy for Mexico because if the tourists, that's their main business, right? Besides cocaine, besides the drugs, it's the tourists that makes that place stick. So without the tourists, and what basically has happened and what's going on there between them and the United States, man, and Mexico's in trouble. Mexico is definitely in trouble right now. So, also want to talk about what's going on in Dubai. Like, what is really going? Let's talk about that, right? What is really going on in Dubai? Because let me just say this. I know we watch television, we watch the news, and we hear what they're reporting and things like that. But I had a conversation with someone who was actually in Dubai and was able to get out of Dubai. They had to go to Africa first. That was the only way out. Go to Africa and then to the States. And I'll just say, they said things were happening, but not to the extent that is being reported on television. So with that being said, I'm not saying that nothing's going on in Dubai at all, but the media does have a way of exaggerating stories. They do have a way of making things appear a certain way when they're really not that way. For example, you're listening to me right now. What if I said where I'm at is snowing here in Boston? What if I said it was snow? If you're in Hyde Park, you wouldn't believe it, right? Of course. But if you're not in Boston and I said that, you would probably believe me, right? The power of the media. So the media really does, they do take advantage of us. I'm not going to sit here and say that the media is all and be all, because it's not. You still have to do your research. There's people in the media that lie all the time. Don't get me started, man. Spygate, Deflategate, yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't in Dubai, but and there's this person that I do follow on social media who does a live, or who's been doing a live at least the last 3 days. They've done lives from Dubai, and the sun's been shining. You can see people in the background riding bikes she was at a restaurant with 3 friends, right? She was at a restaurant. They just there eating, talking about their business and all of that stuff. So I don't know what they're showing now on a day-to-day basis. I don't really watch the news like that. Occasionally I will tune in, while watching it, just understanding that, everything that they're reporting, if I'm not getting a full answer to what they're trying to sell me, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. There's always the truth, and then there's the whole truth. So that's just where I come from when it comes to whether I'm reading information. I like to fact check everything, especially now, because we're at a point in this world, right, where it's like you just have to. You got to fact check everything because we've been lied to for so long, right? I mean, let's talk about that, right? Because let's just talk about one of the topics we're going to get into next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, right, we're going to talk about cancer. We're going to talk about the food. And we're going to talk about fasting, right? So there are other countries in this world that have cures for cancer. Why don't we have a cure here in the United States? Why isn't there a cure here? I think the answer is simple. It's all about money. It's all about profit. There is no money in finding a cure. Actually, I don't believe that, but that's the reason. That's the reason. That's my opinion on why there's no cure yet here in the United States. There's more money into prescribing you with the medication. There's more money in chemotherapy, right? And on top of that, cancer and the food that we eat, if you look at the ingredients, I'm telling you, and I know folks have been hearing a lot about it, there's questions to like, what do you do about it? But at the same time is you got to eat. So there's not a whole lot you could do about it. Now, the thing you can do about it is you could try your best to start, finding who sells organic food, whether it's organic meats, chickens, fruits, vegetables. We talked about this a little bit last week. In places like Japan and China, right? In other areas of this world, they eat vegetables, fruit, and a whole lot of seafood, a whole lot of fish. And there's no obesity, there's no cancers. They live up to 90, somewhere around 90 to 100 years old. There's a community of 100 people that age to 100 plus years old in China. They have their own community of people that are aged 100 plus in China. So when you think about that, like, what's the problem here in America? What's the problem here? You eat, tastes good, want some more. You eat, it tastes good, you want some more, and you get some more, and you keep eating, you keep eating, you keep eating. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. You like what you like, and you're going to eat what you want to eat, and you're going to love it, and you're going to feel good afterwards. In most cases, you're going to feel good afterwards. But the truth of the matter, what's happening right now, we're losing a lot of people. A lot of us have lost quite a few friends or people that we know, right, in the past month, the past several months, the past year, the past several years. We lost a lot of people to all types of cancers and heart attacks. And a lot of it has to do with the food. A lot of it has to do with the food. Now, people might say, yeah, we got to eat better. We got to do better. Of course we do. Of course we do. But we've always had to do that, right? Over the years, we've always, whether you were born in the 60s, 70s, or the 80s, you've always had to eat better. But no one was dropping like that back then. The way we eat now, we've always eaten that way. And no one's been dropping like that. But today in 2026, the food is literally killing us. And all you got to do is look at the ingredients. Look at the back of it. Look what they're putting in it, which most of us don't do. We don't look at I'm one of them. Until recent, now I look at the ingredients. I'm taking a look. I want to know if there's any bio or any type of language in there. I don't understand what the hell it is. The crazy thing is when you look at the ingredients and you look up those ingredients and you find out what it really is and that it does cause cancer and you've been eating it for however long, I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. The food is bad. The food is terrible, man. You know, I feel like it's gotten like that recently, but it's actually been like that for a while. It's been like that for a while. I could tell you this. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I crave a lot of different things, but I try to control it so much more than I've ever did in my entire life. I try to control what I eat now. I'm done with beef. I'm done with beef. If you catch me eating beef, it's gonna be one of those moments you're gonna be like, Goose, what's up? Huh? You know, something's gonna have to be going on for me to eat some beef right now. You know, but I'm just done with that. And then even chicken, like Rich, he's not in today. He'll be back on Tuesday, but you know, we talk about it all the time. We talk about how we eat a lot of chicken as Americans, and especially as our culture. We eat a lot of chicken, right? This summer's coming, man. It's going to be a lot of cookouts, a lot of barbecues, 4th of July. And what's always on the menu? Chicken. It's a lot of chicken. We eat a lot of chicken, man. The game's on. Let's go order some food. You're ordering chicken, most likely, right? You go to the restaurant. Most likely some type of beef or chicken. That's just the fact. We eat a lot of chicken. Where they getting all these chickens from? Where are all these chickens coming from, right? There ain't no shortage. There should be, right? But there's never, ever been a shortage of chickens. Never. Why? Why hasn't there ever been a shortage of chickens? Think about it. Think about it. There's never, ever been a shortage of chickens. As much chicken as we eat, there's never a shortage. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. That fake meat and all that other stuff they've been talking about is real. I heard some stuff about ice cream. Who doesn't like good ice cream? I hear a lot of the ice cream is fake, and they're using all kinds of chemicals and whipping it up like ice cream. I've always been a butter pecan type of ice cream person. Yeah, just think about that, man. All your favorite flavors ice cream, man. You're like, oh, man, I just had some ice cream, man. It was good, too. They saying the ice cream's not even real. And it's not just one thing, man. It's like almost everything you go to the store and pick up. So what do you do, man? It's like it's not much you can do about it because you got to eat. You got to eat, man. I can't even imagine just eating salad, vegetables, fruit, and fish. I can't imagine it, but and then you got Kennedy running that department now, right? A lot of folks don't like him. They're like, man, all of a sudden he's this guy that came out of nowhere and knows everything about the food. I don't know. I just know regardless, right? I just know the food is bad and that anyone who's willing to step up and change it and make it right, man, let's go for it. You know, let them do the job. Let them make those changes, man. Now, someone who was, I think Marv sent me something a couple of days ago about how bad the candy is and all the stuff that's in the candy, even the toothpaste. I hear Colgate is one of the worst toothpastes, right, for kids, and that Colgate has a lot of lead in it. It has a lot of lead in it. And you know lead ain't good for kids, especially under the age of 6. If they're brushing their teeth with Colgate and they're under the age of 6, that's going to do some damage. It's the same thing where you buy a house or you rent an apartment, you got to sign that lead paint disclosure, whether you have a child under the age of 6 or not. Lead can do some damage. And the reason why is because the child's brain under the age of 6 is not fully developed. And I know a lot of, well, my child's not going to eat no lead. Of course he's not, right? Until he's playing one day. And you know how kids are, how they put any and everything in their mouth, you know? You just never know. You might have that one kid who wants to put his mouth on the trim of the house, which is full of lead. You know? He could be 1 or 2 years old, whatever, right? Brain's not fully developed, and he all of a sudden wants to put his mouth on something that is infested with lead paint, you know, with lead, and then there's the problem, you know. So back in the day, like, here's something crazy, right? Back in the day, they used to use they would put lead purposely in coffee to sweeten up the coffee. Back in the day. It's kind of crazy, ain't it? So yeah, there's a lot going on with a lot of the food that we eat, a lot of the things that we purchase on a day-to-day basis. And you know, I think we all as people, we just got to take a harder look at what we're buying and the ingredients in that, whether it's food, whether it's toothpaste, mouthwash, you know, tea, you know, juices are the, you know, bottom line for us, all right, sugar's not good for us. It's not good for us at all. It's just not. And one of the things that, if you can eliminate the sugar in your life, that's a good part of the battle when it comes to staying healthy. Eliminate that sugar, and it's a major part in just keeping your body healthy. You know, we should be, I mean, truth be told, the United States should be the leaders in this. They really should. Now, we've always heard you get the best medical in the best hospitals in the United States. Now, for those who say that's true, my question is, that's true based on what? That's the question. That is true based on what? Or that's my question. Because I definitely want to believe that, right? I want to believe we have the best medical. There are places in this world, right? Here in the United States, you go in for a checkup. All right. You know, I don't even know if sometimes, I guess they do take the little hammer and they bang your knee just to check your reflexes, right? They listen to your heart, put the stethoscope on your back and say cough, right? You know, whatever they do. And they write whatever they write in that little thing. I don't know what they write in there. Good, bad, A+, B+, not good. I don't know. Open your mouth. Let me look at your tongue. Cough. I mean, it's crazy. That's the checkup. That's your checkup. Now, in other countries, I want to say it's Turkey. I could be wrong. But there is a place in this world, when you go in for a checkup, it's a full day. They check everything. It's a full day, and it's so long of a day, right? They feed you lunch. They feed you a healthy lunch. They check your blood. They check for cancer. They do everything. That's a checkup. And then at the end of it, they have a breakdown of what's going on with your body, whether you have potential risk of cancer or whatever. That's what they do. So I don't know, you know, I think we were all led to believe that, when it comes to these hospitals, I do think we have some great doctors. I really do. But I think some of these doctors have been molded to do what they do and how they do, prescribe these medications. We'll give you a bonus at the end of the year if you can reach 50 or whatever the amount of medication they got to prescribe, So yeah, so I think some of them do that. I do believe a lot of these doctors get paid on prescribing certain medications. I do believe that. And there's this saying now that their job isn't to heal you, but is to maintain your injury, not heal it, but keep it so that you're actively on these medications for however long. Think about all the people that are on high blood. My mother's been on high blood pressure medication for, I can't even tell you how long. I don't even know what other stuff they got her on, but she's on different medications, I would like to say you don't need all of that. Then again, I'm not a doctor, and I don't know what would happen if she would have come off on certain things, because she's been on them for so long. So I can't say that, but, and I've told this story again. I'll tell it once again. I'll tell you the same story again, because I think it's important that people know stuff like this. So I got a good old friend, man, and his mother, I'll never forget, man. They told him that her condition wasn't great, and that, round up the family and come say your goodbyes, something to that extent, right? So we all go to the hospital, and at some point it just got to the point where, they were convinced that there was nothing the doctors could do. And then somewhere along the line, my guy said, well, take her off of all of those medications. And they did that. And guess what happened? She lived another 10 plus years. And I've heard other cases like that where people come off the medications. There is this thing as being over medicated, Somebody got rich off of those medications. Those medications cost money. And I remember when all of a sudden those prices went crazy. Remember those prices and medications went up? Back in the day, I don't know. I can't remember what the cost was, but I know it was cheap. It was affordable for most people to just buy it, right? Whether it was $5, $3, $10, $20. Now medications are like hundreds of dollars. It's crazy. Somebody's making a lot of money. Big Pharma is getting paid. Big Pharma is getting paid out there. So, I don't know. I want to believe we have the best doctors and we have the best hospitals. I just think that they are guided. They're getting their instructions for Big Pharma, who's sitting on top of things and is making billions of dollars off of sick people. Being sick is a business for them. For us, it's our life, right? Prescribe that medication. And then on top of that, we got to make sure they get sick. So now the food's being poisoned. I said it. We got to make sure they get sick. So poison the food, right? Yeah, man. So, and shout out to all my listeners. For some reason, I can't pull up the Facebook. So if you got questions on Facebook, I can't see it. But hey, do give me a call. 617-238-7111. 617-238-7111. That's the number. You listen to R&B Talk on a Tuesday. My guy, Ray Royale, should be here any moment now. We're going to talk about that new album he has. What a great dude, man. When it comes to R&B, he is the king here, especially here in the city of Boston. So we're going to talk about that album and all the great things he got going on. We're going to get into that shortly. But once again, 617-238-7111. If you want to talk about it, man, let's talk about these hospitals. Let's talk about the food. Let's talk about all of it, man. The ramifications of being at war. You know, I mean, I just think you grow up, you're born into this world, and we're all a number from day one. We are all a number for day one. We've been a number from day one. Every human born has a value. Now, individuals born in other cultures, it's not the same. It's not the same as us. Because think about it, right? When it comes to African Americans, when it comes to black folks, right? If you just put everything down on paper and you look at the characteristics of the culture, right? Just think about it before I even say it. Just look at the characteristics of the culture. And then think about the people or the businesses that makes billions of dollars off the culture, right? It's all a game. It's all a game. It's all a game. I mean, it really is. You know, I'm saying all this stuff because I feel like it's so obvious at this point in all of our lives, right? It's so obvious that if you're paying attention, if you're really paying attention to what's going on, and I don't see how many of us cannot, because we've all lost someone that we've known that's either close to us or, you know, we just know them, whether it's through other people. Every week, every other week, every month, it's been constant for a few years now. People are dying, and they're dying for a reason. And I don't mean to be all over the place. Bring me back if I get lost. Point me back if I get lost. I mean, we got to wake up. I just feel like as people, we got to wake up, man. And we've been hearing that for a long time. But no, really. Nowadays, you really have to wake up now. Life is, and it's not going to get any better. Matter of fact, a lot of us, you know, with the technology and the way the technology is going, a lot of us are going to stay behind. And we're going to be locked into whatever the next phase of life is going to be, and how we're going to be treated as people, and how we're going to be subject to the things we're going to be subject to, because we ain't going to have a choice. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the overall picture of the culture, all right, black folks, and these are facts. I don't know what the percentages are, but let's talk about the prisons, right? They took the black men out the household, right? With the Section 8 vouchers. And this never made sense. This really never made sense. We'll give you a subsidy Section 8 voucher, but your boyfriend can't live with you, or the father of your child can't live with you. Think about that. How do they even make sense out of that? That made no sense whatsoever. We'll give you the voucher, but it's just for you and the kids and not the father. And what did that do? And other people have talked about, I've heard conversations about this. What did that do? Keeping the black man out the household, it didn't help. It definitely did not help. And anyone with kids, you understand how important it is for the father to be in the kid's life. Now, there's all kinds of things that can happen where a father is not in that child's life, right? It's hard when you don't live under the same roof. I tell you that. It's very hard. If you don't live under the same roof with your child, it's not, you can do any and everything you can. You can make all the time in the world, but you got to work too, right? So you can't be there all the time. And you're not there all the time. That could still have an effect on how the child comes up. Now, I got a good friend. I tell him all the time, man, till this day, he's still father. First of all, he raised some kids, some beautiful kids, right? He raised some grown men. Then went out and started all over again. And now he's raising some girls. And his girl, let me tell you, this dude, he's father of the year. I give him that all the time. Now, prior to him having the girls, man, I'm going here to do this and do that and handle my, whether I'm going to the supermarket, whether I'm going to the gym, if I'm going somewhere and I run into him, I always would run into him where he's got the kids in the truck and they're going to, whether they're going to the game, whether they're going to the movies. I mean, the same thing he did for his boys, he's doing it for his girls. And I always tell him, even to this day, man, yo, you a father of the year, man, because like, and his ex-wife, God rest her soul, right? Even when they were together, he was the mother and the father. I would tell him all the time, yo, dude, man, you listen. I admire what he, and I always, till this day, I still tell him that, right? So, yeah, no, hey, yo, Ray, no problem, dog. Things happen. So, it's all good. So we'll have Ray back another time. He's not going to make it in today. But, with all that being said, let me tell you something, right? He's got a new album out. It's called Behind Closed Doors. And I could tell you right now, there's some tracks on that album. Ladies especially. I mean, I'm quite sure, and one of my questions was going to be with him, like, who did you make this album for? And I'll tell you right now, I know the answer, man. He made it for you beautiful ladies out there in the world. But that album is available on all platforms. Again, it's called Behind Closed Doors, the latest album from Royale. I'm sure you've probably seen him or heard of him. He does a lot of events at the City Winery. In fact, he has stock in the place. No, I'm just joking. But he does a lot of events there. And just check out the album. It's a good buy. You got to support your people here. He's out of Boston, too, at that. It's available on all platforms, so make sure you check it out. So, yeah, I'm just going to ramble on until I can't ramble no more. But listen, if you got something you want to say or you want to talk about, don't be shy. Give me a call, 617-238-7111. We are in a different world today. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that we need to, as people, we got to pay more attention. We gotta start adjusting to this world that we live in instead of, doing what we've been doing. Listen, there's nothing wrong with enjoying life. You have to enjoy life. Life is a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of business that you need to handle, so that your life can be a wealthy life, a healthy life, a wealthier life for your kids, your family. It's a lot of stuff you got to pay attention and do. I'm telling you right now, the next time you go to the supermarket, pay attention to the ingredients. Look on the back. I know a lot of that stuff is in small writing, man. Bring a magnifying glass because they do that too. They do that too because they don't want you to see the ingredients that's in that food. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Urban Heat.
Good morning, Gooseby. How are you this wonderful morning?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who's this? Who am I speaking to?
This is Charlie Bravo.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. This is C. Drew.
Good.
You don't listen to the morning show, so you don't know all the daggone aliases.
You know what? I do listen, but sometimes, hey, like most people, you got to still move about. You got the radio on.
Absolutely.
Right.
I heard you say that you're not seeing the comments on Facebook, so I wanted to take you back to the comments you were making about what's going on in Dubai and about how the news puts out not so, important facts, or I shouldn't say the word important, but is the news actually factual or not, right?
Right.
So you made a comment about somebody over there who was sending pictures or videos of people at restaurants and people riding bikes and stuff. And so what I want to say is, as much as I don't listen to the news because half the stuff is not factual, when we look at a war that's going on, you think of the U.S. and how big we are here. So if they're bombing over in California, guess what? Our folks in Boston are still sitting out at those restaurants. People still riding by on their bikes and stuff. So it's not that what's going on over there is not factual right now. It just might not be in the area that person you're communicating with is in.
Right. Well, and people also get their information differently now. A lot of it's on social media. A lot of people, and it's not just me. When I tune into the news, it's because, I want to, let me see what's going on. What am I missing here? And a lot of times it's the same stuff, but people get the information differently now. They do get the information differently now, but that's a big deal what's going on in Iran right now. So you would think that somehow, some way, people are going to get that information that we got a war going on over there. But the problem too is you got to fact check a lot of things, because the news they will exaggerate to the point you're like, oh my God, did you hear this? But then when you look things up, or you ask that other question, you see that the picture is a lot different from what they painted.
Absolutely. That's why I don't watch the news.
Right.
Exactly why I don't watch the news.
Right.
But then again, who do we trust? What do we trust? There's AI and there's all these other things out there now. What do we trust? What do we believe? What is fact versus not fact? What do we believe?
And that's even a bigger problem, because you know what? We grew up thinking that, okay, our leaders are telling us the truth and that they're not going to lie to us and that they don't have other motives, I should say, in terms of trying to persuade us to think whichever way that they're trying to go. That's even a bigger problem. Like, who do you trust? Who do you trust? I
don't know. When you find out, you let me know.
I'll see if I
can fact check.
Well, you can trust me, but then again, I might get some bad information too. So it's just one of those things. It's just really bad now. It's to the point where it's like, man, how long have we been lied to? We've been lied to for a long time.
Oh yeah,
for a long time.
And they're gonna continue to lie to us.
Right.
They're gonna continue.
Right.
So,
all right. Well,
but I just wanted to call in and give you that little bit of my 2 cents for your show this morning, and
all right.
enjoy the weather when you get out of there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be out here soon. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right now. Yep. All right. You can give me a call as well, 617-238-7111. Let's talk about it, y'all. Because that is the number one question. Like, who do you trust when it comes to information? Who do you trust when it comes to information? Now, again, some of y'all might think I'm crazy, right? But I read in between the lines. I feel like I have a great instinct, a great intuition of what's going on out there. Good morning. Welcome to the Urban Heat. Who's this?
Moonlight.
Moon, what it do? How you doing?
I'm good. I think you're talking about how we get information, right? About all the stuff that's happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I trust, it's sad to say, social media more than TV a lot of times. You know what I mean? Because the news stations here, if we're listening at just what's in our country, it's limited. I think. I don't think we're getting all of the information that we need to get. But if folks take the time to look at international news, global news, they'll see what's happening in places that that we need to know about, but we don't know about, because it's like stuff is censored, even though it shouldn't be. Like, there are a lot of things that, like what's happening in Cuba. This is crazy.
Yeah, what's going on in Cuba? See, I didn't see any of that.
And I'm literally just learning about just what they're doing with their oil and just like blockages, and folks are not able, they're suffering over there, and it's all at the hands of the things that we're doing here. I'm still learning about it, but I don't see that on the headline news over here.
Right.
We're not talking about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you look at international news, which I'm going to turn it on as soon as I hang up with you so I can listen to more of what's happening, you can look it up online.
Right.
Now that I know what's happening, I'm going to go look for the news. But on regular news, the nightly news, they're not talking about it. And if they do, they just say something for like 10 seconds. And then you barely catch it, you know? So folks don't realize just what the impact of what our administration is doing, how it's impacting other places. And by impacting those other places, it's impacting us again. It's like twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's twofold. So we have to, some people are afraid to listen to the news. I'm talking to people like, I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the news. You've got to listen, and you got to listen more to, than just what's happening around the corner. You got to listen to the things internationally and globally. You got to do that every day for a few minutes at least, even though it's overwhelming.
Right. Right.
You know, it's overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, you're speaking the truth right there. And I agree with you about social media. I think there's better information on social media than there is regular news. Now, you do have to fact check. You can't run with it because there's a lot of lies that's put out there on social media as well. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, when it comes to laws, there's this particular, I don't even know the guy's name, but I had to put him out of my news feed because his information was always wrong. And he was always talking about all these regulations coming up in real estate. And I would do the research and I'm like, man, please, you know, So you definitely
found out that he wasn't truthful.
He wasn't truthful at all. And there are a lot of changes in real estate, but the stuff he was talking about, you know, was just, it was ludicrous, you know?
Well, one of the things is your problem is when we see the things happening on social media, like on Facebook or Instagram, it usually comes from people who are facing it in the moment, people who are seeing it happening where they live in their environment on the spot. And they have video footage, they're showing us and they're telling us and they're naming names and they're giving us information that our news is not. And all we have to do, like you just said, we can fact check it. But we're getting more information that way from regular individuals, just regular people, and of course news anchors from those countries, than we are getting from our own. So we have to open up our eyes and understand, because understanding that will tell us why the prices of so many things are going up for us.
Right.
The blockages that are happening in these countries, like the prices that are going up here, this is just the beginning. I think it's going to get a whole lot worse, unfortunately.
Yep.
You know, but we can tell what's happening if we just pay attention to what's happening, not just what's happening here in America, but outside of America too, because America, you know, we're all in everybody's business. So if we're in everybody's business, what happens when they start getting in our business?
Right.
You know what I mean? Think about it. Think about how we're moving. You know, this isn't like, oh, you're putting down America. No. This is reality. We're America, and we be walking around, moving around like, because we're America, we can go anywhere, do anything with anybody, to anybody, tell them how to move in their own space. Eventually, folks are going to be like, wait a minute. And you know, even though it may not be everybody over here, and when they do that, then what? I'll tell you what, prices, because you know everything, you know better than I know. It's all about money. Mm-hmm. And who's going to get hurt first? Those who don't make a lot of it, right?
Right. And you just
and
said,
how do they get it?
You just said
how we eat.
Right. You just said the magic word right there. It's all about money, and it is.
It is.
War is money.
It's money. It's money.
It's
money.
Money and power.
You know. Exactly. So sadly, I think that's what it is. But here's the bright side. Knowing it gives us an opportunity to prepare for it. And preparation is at least something that we have. It's something, because at least we know it's coming, because it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And the only way you won't know is if you don't open up your eyes and your ears and pay attention. And sadly, like I said, hearing it hurts my heart. Some days I listen to the news in other places and I want to cry.
Right.
Because I'm smart enough to know what's happening to my brothers and sisters over there. It's going to affect me. Mm-hmm. And to think that it won't affect you here in America, you're sadly mistaken. That's all I have to say. You know, Pay attention to global news, international news, and get your and what's happening on social media besides the jokes and the skits, because there's a lot to be said for that. You know, there are a lot of people mad at us over here in America.
Yeah.
And when they get their lick back, we better be prepared. They're gonna get their lick back. They're gonna look for their lick back.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, because I believe, right, with everything that's going on, at some point, something is going to happen here, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, what's really sad about it, when I think about the big picture, think about all these billionaires and folks that have hundreds of millions of dollars that have moved out of the country. A lot of them moved out of the country for a reason. And
yes, sir.
You got a lot of folks also building bunkers, right?
That's right.
Now, if you go back, I think it was 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, maybe not even that long, I remember in New York City, they had billboards on how to survive a nuclear attack. There was billboards, there was PSAs, there was all kinds of stuff on how to survive a nuclear attack. Now, why would that even be something that would have to be advertised? I say that because, you know, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario. But you got these folks out of the country for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're out of the country for a reason. So many people have moved out of Los Angeles, out of Hollywood. A lot of these big stars, they got places outside of the country where they're living today.
They have options.
Yeah.
They have options. So when we see these people building bunkers in their homes and track places and all these things in their, you know, just different things, don't laugh at them, you know, because we're laughing at, some people are laughing, look what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're preparing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes you might want to look at what other people are doing. And I'm not saying build your own bunker, but make plans, you know, make some type of plan for the possibilities of what might happen. And we know one thing, if we can agree on nothing else, we know the prices are going to go up. We know that tuna that costs $3 is going to go up to $20. So prepare, get it while it's $3 because you know it's going to be $20. You know, that's just a small example, but certain things you know it's going to take place. And the way people be running out, and because the prices are going to go up, you know, the prices are going to go up because these vendors, these stores are not going to be able to get products because so many other places outside of the U.S. is being blocked. What did we call them? These tariffs and those other, the other names that they have when they don't allow trade. They don't allow the trades in and out.
Right.
All that stuff is going to affect us. That scares me. The idea that we live in this country and we're going to be, the way we butt into other people's businesses, then we're going to hurt our own over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it goes deeper than politics. You know what I mean? It's more than just politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about money. Yeah. Or maybe it is all politics. You know what I mean? But whatever it is, it's not really for the people. They know what they're doing. Everybody wants to make a legacy in the school book. And if there's nothing else you can say about our administration and our president, he's gonna be in the books. You know what I mean? People will talk about this man for a long, long time, whether we like it or don't like it. And to think that they won't, you're crazy. They will talk about him. He got exactly what he wanted.
Let me ask you this. So far. Do you think whether he was in office or not, whether it was Kamala or whoever might have been in office, do you think we still be in the position, will we be at war in Iran? You think? I personally don't think we would be at war with Iran, you know, but I do think we'd be in something. I don't think having Kamala in office would have soothed everything, but I do think the troubles that we're seeing now, it would be a different type of trouble. You know, to say that she would have been perfection would be a delusion. Right. I'm not delusional to think any president fixes anything. People like to go in Obama and everything. Oh, look at these deportations and Obama. Obama deported a whole lot of people. A lot of Haitians, and you know I'm Haitian. Let's not stop playing. He just did it with a certain swag. As he deported you, he didn't disrespect you. That's all. Yeah. I mean, it was just a different administration, and they moved differently. You could move through a space and do some real bad things or some things that people don't like. But depending on how you move, they don't even notice that it's done until it's over. That's all Obama move. And I'm keeping it 100 with you. I'm not saying there was perfection in him, but I'm saying he moved differently. And because he moved differently, the effect that he had on people, even the people that he, you know, seemingly hurt, it was different. Yeah. Well, the war with Iran was talked about way before Trump even got in office.
Absolutely.
It was talking about it way before that.
A school with a bunch of kids was, I was reading the other night, where a lot of kids were hurt, like more than
in Iran.
It was over 100. Yeah, that's scary. But we didn't know that. They made it seem like it was a few.
And see
it's
now,
a lot.
And see now that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Now, okay, I don't know if that's, okay, that's what they're telling us. I can't say off the bat that that's true. I would need some, you gotta, can you sell it to me in a way where I can believe it's true? Because
which part?
I mean, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying the news in general.
Well, yeah, because the one I believe is the one with the children, where the people there are showing us the children and the destruction, because we see it from them. But I'm saying they're not showing us that here. But on Instagram, you can find it. It's right there.
Right.
With the photos and them hiding with their iPhones and taking pictures and showing us, and we know what it is.
Right.
But we're only seeing tidbits here because that stuff is kind of sensitive. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
we've become the type of territory that we used to talk about, and we used to say, oh, look at the way they're living. I mean, think about it. There was a time when I read about, this is a little different, read about people in South Africa, when you were walking, they had to show their IDs. That gives me ICE vibes. Like, people are doing that here down, you know what I mean? On some level, I need to see your ID. What the hell?
Right.
You know what I
mean? I'll end it right here by just saying, like, some of that stuff, when I see it, I kind of automatically say, man, it looks like Hollywood to me. It looks like they went to the extent where these people out here, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but sometimes I look at it just like that. It looks like it was created in Hollywood. Now, over the summer, right, of last year, there were a few events where they said there was 100,000 people downtown protesting this and that, right?
Right.
And they would show it on the news, and then on social media, someone would say, I'm downtown right now. I don't see all of that. You know what I mean? So
exactly. I agree with you. Which one did you believe? I believe the person who went on their iPhone and went live.
Right. So
that's what I'm saying. That's how I feel about all of this. I'm like, there's people that's like they're placed there to lie to us. So we have to do what you said, do our due diligence and research. We can't be lazy with our life. We cannot be lazy with our life because other people, they're literally putting us to the side.
You got to start thinking for yourself, right? And ask those questions because they're talking to you. They're selling you what they're selling you on television. If you're going to watch it, you got to start using your head and, ask those questions. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And there's so many instances where they give you the information and people just accept it, like I always say, and it's one of those cliches, but it's real. There's the truth, and then there's the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know the whole story. It's like someone coming up to you saying such and such did this, such and such did that. I always, in the moment when someone's telling me something like that, first of all, I don't want to be hearing all that mess, but when someone's telling me that, in my head, I'm asking the questions, right? Well, because there's the whole truth. And a lot of times you're only getting a half from the individual that you're listening. You're getting their story. You're getting their side of it.
Right.
So I would just say to people, listen, you just got to ask yourself those questions. Once upon a time, I trusted the media, right? But we work in the media now, and we've even, I always tell people back in the day, April Fool's joke, we used to do that at WIOD back in the day, right? And it was April 1st, right? And folks still bit. They knew it was April 1st, but because it was us saying that Janet Jackson's going to be here today, come on down and get an autograph, they believed it. And that's how simple it is to convince people things, because people, they follow certain folks, and whatever they say, they figure, well, they just said it on CNN. So what you got? It was on TV. They said it on CNN. What? CNN can't lie?
Right.
They can't lie? They can't get you to go one way or the other? Come on now. Yeah, well, I'll end it right there. I'll just say that, when you hear that term, the Matrix, that's what all of this is. We've all been inside this Matrix. We've been in this whatever you want to call it outside of that, but We've been told this, and the reality is we've been lied to about a lot of things, man. We've been lied to about a lot of things, you know.
Agree.
And I love some of my politicians, you know, and we do got some real ones out there. We got a bunch of real ones out there. But
we do.
But, you know, if you're into politics and you don't have that, your power extends only so far. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you can only do what you can do in your position, and you have to follow along with your leader. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'll leave it at that. But thanks for the call. I appreciate you. The weather's beautiful outside, so I'm gonna say a few more things, and I'm gonna get up on out of here myself. But
all right, have a great day.
All right, thanks for the call. And maybe I'll take one more before I get out. 617-238-7111 if you got something you want to talk about. But yeah, we are in a world today, man. I'm telling you, man, listen. I don't know everything. I ain't the smartest guy in the room. I don't care to be, right? I don't even want to be out there like that. I don't. But we got to start paying attention to the things that are really important to us. And how could you not pay attention to what I talked about earlier, which is the food and the ingredients in the food, the stuff we're putting in our bodies, the stuff that we're addicted to, the sugars, the foods that we like the most, you know? I mean, it's killing us. It's been killing us. It's been killing us. I got to keep saying it over and over. I talk about food on here. I've been talking about it for a long time, for years, you know? I'm telling you, man, that's like, and it's hard. It ain't easy. I'm not up here saying like, you know, I'm eating my best life either. I'm not. I haven't been. I am now. I'm doing my best to do that now. But for many years, I was in that same boat. We were all in that same boat, you know. We love what we love. We love our soul food. And the thing about it, right, when it comes to eating right, we ate what we ate for a long time. Never had any issues. Maybe a little bit of obesity, right? Because we like eating. Yeah, we had that, you know. But diabetes wasn't even a big problem back. Just think about it. Go back. Diabetes never been a problem like it is today in 2026. But the difference is, it's the ingredients they putting in the food. I was out at a restaurant last week meeting up with one of my boys, and I was so glad they had an organic menu. They had an organic menu. And after I got done eating, I felt good. I ain't gonna lie, some of this food, it bloats the hell out of me, man. I'm like, God damn, the hell, you know? But when I eat organic, oh man, I'm good. She was like, all the food here organic. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, man. But nah, we got to pay attention, man. There's a lot of things we got to pay attention to. We got to get more involved, and you got to, you know, make sure it trickles down to your kids. I know these kids are different today. I know it's hard with these kids today. They just on something totally different, but you're still the mother and you still the father. So you let them know and you just tell them, man, you know? Now, if you tell them and they don't listen, then they'll learn the hard way, of course. You know how that goes. But I think we really all got to change, man. We all got to change. So listen, if you see me at the cookout in the summer and you don't see me over there near the grill, you know, I'm all set. You know, nah, it ain't the food, man. It ain't your food, in other words. It's just the stuff they put in the food, man. So, you know, nah, I'm going to try my best, man. I'm telling you now. I'm going to try my best. So like I said earlier, next Tuesday, we're doing a show on, we're going to talk more about the food. We're going to get into some of those ingredients that you need to look out for. All right. We're going to do that on Tuesday. We're going to talk about cancer. Now, I did not know this, right? But in Mattapan, and we'll talk about it in detail on Tuesday. In Mattapan, there are records amount of people in Mattapan with cancer, and no one knows why. There is a record amount of people that live in Mattapan with cancer. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday, and we're also going to talk about fasting. We're actually, and I'm gonna do this with my guest that's coming in next week. She's going to introduce us to a 7-day fast, a 7-day cleanse, and I'm going to participate in it. And I want you to do the same thing. So make sure you tune in and check us out on Tuesday with my girl, Angie Dickinson. She'll be up here live. Also going to have Cupid, the guy that bought you the Cupid Shuffle. We're going to have him on. We're going to have my guy that created the Biker Shuffle. He's going to be on here live with us. So make sure you tune in on Tuesday for that. And with all that being said, there's a big event coming up with the Rhythm Riders on March 21st. It's going to be a day party with Noel Gordon. Noel Gordon is an R&B artist. If you listen to R&B Vibes, you'll hear some of his music on that. Cupid's going to be performing live. You got Big Moochie with the Biker Shuffle. DJ Wade's going to be providing the music. So that's happening from 3 to 8 at the Russell Auditorium, and that's on March 31st. That's next Saturday, I believe. So make sure you check that out and tune in on Tuesday, because I'm telling you, man, we got to start acting on these issues that we are all going through that ain't going away. I think with all the folks talking about what's going on with the food nowadays, you would think there'd be some type of emergency recall on a lot of this stuff, but there's not. But there should be. And when you think about it, I know, again, not everybody believes some of this stuff I'm talking, but game is game, right? Game recognized game. Game is game. You got the pharmaceutical companies who pay big dollars to elect certain presidents to get certain people in place to get their laws passed. And when their laws get passed, like, for example, allow us to put these ingredients in our food, then it's done. And that's why you have some of this stuff on the shelf. You got Big Pharma with big dollars. They're controlling what goes in the food, and then you get sick, and then the medication is prescribed, and then money in their pockets. I bet you, and I'm going to see if I can find these numbers. I bet you, if I were to do some research on how much money, with the market being as bad as it is, I bet you that Big Pharma has made records amount of money just in the past year. I bet you. They had to have. So many people have died and have been on all kinds of medication. I bet you they've made billions and billions of more dollars because of the medication that they provide from people getting sick from the ingredients, where they had laws passed for those ingredients to be put in the food that you eat. So listen, if you had lunch and you're bloated all of a sudden, that's a problem. You shouldn't be bloated after eating a meal. There's something in that meal that you ate that's the reason why you're bloated. I'm telling you, it's bad out here, man. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. The weather's beautiful outside. Thank you for tuning in to R&B Talk on a Tuesday. Shout out to Ray Royale. He couldn't make it in today. We'll get him back on. But listen, do go out and cop that album, Behind Closed Doors. Nice little R&B album for you ladies especially, and for you fellas. Listen, man, you got a lady, you want to get that album, and you get home later on, baby, check this out. All right, I'm out, y'all. Enjoy your day. R&B Talk on a Tuesday. R&B vibes for you.
whatever you want.